At 6:50 p.m, Aaliyah, along with the members of her record company, boarded the plane at Marsh Harbor Airport to take the quick flight back to Florida. A few minutes later, witnesses watched the plane taxi down the runway and slowly climbed to 50 feet when the aircraft suddenly veered to the left and plummeted nose first into a marsh and burst into flames.
There have been recent developments in Jay-Z's legal issues, and it appears that even his lawyer might find the situation too difficult to manage. Jaguar Wright has been revealing some serious information lately and has made some outrageous claims about Jay-Z's feelings toward Aaliyah. But before getting into that, let's take a moment to revisit Aaliyah's tragic death. Aaliyah tragically passed away in a plane crash on August 25, 2001, at the age of just 22. Her unexpected death triggered a lot of speculation due to the somewhat suspicious circumstances surrounding it.
Pilot, who we'll talk about in a minute, recommended that only 7 people fly with Aaliyah, or a total of 7 people in the party. She happened to have 8 in her party. And there was also some heavy equipment and luggage on board. Aaliyah was a nervous flyer, and she was immediately sort of put off by this. Another thing, the flight was scheduled to take off early in the night. It was about 3.5 hours late to arrive at the Abaco Islands.
Which, if you're a nervous flyer, already adds to your anxiety. You see this tiny plane, they're late, it's nightfall all of a sudden. Shortly after takeoff, literally 200 feet from the runway, the plane nosedives and crashes, killing nearly instantly 7 of the passengers and the pilot. The only survivor in the immediate aftermath of the crash was a man named Scott Gallen. Scott Gallen was Aaliyah's security guard.
By the early 2000s, Aaliyah was on her way to becoming a massive star. She had just starred in her first movie, Romeo Must Die, and her music career was taking off. Meanwhile, Jay-Z had just achieved success with Big Pimpin'. According to an insider who attended one of Jay-Z's parties around that time, Jay-Z was all over Aaliyah. The source told the Daily Mail that Jay-Z appeared to be trying to get closer to her, but at the time, it didn't raise many eyebrows. People assumed they were just collaborating on music. However, Damon Dash, who was dating Aaliyah at the time, later confirmed that Jay-Z had strong feelings for her.
You know, I've known Puff for 30 years. I haven't been to any one of his parties, especially on the LA side, you know, not even in probably 20 years. So that was the 4th of July, and that's when he was with Jennifer Lopez. He had a barbecue. You know, we were all staying in one house, me, Aaliyah, Jay, a couple of friends. That night, no one knew who Aaliyah was with, and that's how we wanted it. You know, because at the time, her and I, you know, we hadn't like actually gone there like that yet, and you know, me and Homeboy was both trying, so no one knew who was messing with who. And you know, that night we left early. I left with Aaliyah, and that's the night that the magic happened with Aaliyah and I. So that was a magical night for me.
Dash admitted that although he didn't initially know about Jay-Z's interest, it all made sense in hindsight. He also had a professional relationship with R. Kelly, which contributed to his fallout with Dash. The two artists had collaborated on the 2002 album The Best of Both Worlds, but Dash wasn't happy about it, especially given the disturbing allegations surrounding R. Kelly at the time. Dame Dash made it clear that his fallout with Jay-Z wasn't just about business. It had a lot to do with morals.
When he did the record with him, with Jay, that's why I was that was almost like one of the things where I was just like, he's out of here, Jay. I just let it go because I couldn't believe he did a project with her, with R. Kelly, knowing that he had raped my girl.
Jaguar Wright also pointed out that the tension between Jay-Z and Dash seemed to intensify around the time of Aaliyah's death, coinciding with Beyoncé's struggles to launch her solo career. At that point, they were still trying to promote Beyoncé as a solo artist, but things weren't going as smoothly as planned. Then, when Aaliyah tragically passed away, some people began to question the timing, wondering if it was more than just a coincidence. There has been a long-standing conspiracy theory suggesting that Jay-Z might have been involved in Aaliyah's death to allow Beyoncé to take her place in the spotlight.
But wait, wasn't this all around the time when Aaliyah died?
Yeah.
And Beyonce's solo career was struggling? Jam on your horn now, that fucking bullshit ass record. From the Austin Powers shit, it was some of the worst shit ever. They were having a hard time taking her solo. And then Aaliyah died. And then they brought Rich Harrison in, and your love got me thinking so crazy right now. She like
The theory proposes that since Jay-Z couldn't have Aaliyah for himself, he became fixated on removing her so that Beyoncé could emerge as the new queen of R&B. Now, I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but even I have to admit, it does raise some intriguing questions. One thing that often comes up when discussing Aaliyah and Beyoncé is the meaning behind their names. Aaliyah means the highest, most exalted one, while Beyoncé means one who is beyond others. When you think about it, that kind of sets up a rivalry. Two incredibly talented women, each aiming to be the best. Back in those days, there was only room for one at the top. People who remember Aaliyah say she acted a bit strangely whenever Beyoncé was mentioned, and she didn't seem comfortable when they were in the same space. Aaliyah even did an interview in Paris just weeks before her death, where she made an eerie comment about wanting to travel to Egypt to see where Cleopatra and the pharaohs once lived.
This is an Egyptian ankh, and I don't know if you've heard, but I really am enthralled with Egypt. In my apartment in New York, I have authentic Egyptian pictures, Egyptian rugs, pyramids, and a lot of different little, Egyptian artifacts around my place. And I just have I feel this connection with Egypt for some reason, so I really wanted to represent something on my body. I have a few tattoos, and I wanted to get one that was Egyptian. This is the newest one.
Just weeks after that interview, Aaliyah's plane crashed in the Bahamas, taking her life far too soon. Thankfully, more than a decade later, Mary J. Blige is still alive and well. It's hard to say whether Jay-Z had any real involvement in Aaliyah's tragic passing, but recent developments have meant that his past is being scrutinized like never before. First Aaliyah, then Beyoncé, now Rihanna. Of course, it could all just be speculation, but what do you think? Was Aaliyah's death a tragic accident? Or do you believe there might be more to the story, with Jay-Z playing a role behind the scenes? Let us know in the comments.